Well, welcome to a new Harry's Farm video, and there is lots to pack into this video. We're going to be looking at crops, we're going to be explaining what's happening on the farm and just going back actually on some of that solar things. And I've also got a new channel sponsors, because 2025 we're going to try and do more with the Harry's Farm video channel and try and get us to at least 2 videos a month is the aim. So you'll see a logo down below and it says Rural Asset Finance, and they're going to be the main sponsor of the channel. They do alternative finance for farming activity. If you're going to put a new diversification scheme in, shepherd huts they were saying, that's quite popular, that sort of thing. But we'll go into detail another time on that one. There's also Latham doors, security doors. They're actually on the farm at the moment fitting a new door, because security on farm I think is a big thing, so I'll be featuring some of that as well. And then C-Tech, who also sponsor Harry's Garage as well, because I think I have chargers on the tractors and those indicators and how you can charge equipment when it's off site and you haven't got any mains and all that sort of thing. So we'll be explaining that over the coming months as well. But wheat, and the sun's out, and wheat like sun and sudden this increase in day length, and finally spring is here after the most miserable winter of wetness and just cold. And the wheat is responding, and we were out here yesterday putting nitrogen fertilizer on, and this is my field that is what I would term boys land. This is the field, always looks good, so it's a good place to start a video. And you can see the rows, which is what I want to see. And I also, when I get to a tram line like this, what I'm actually looking for is the lack of weeds. So a tram line is where when you put in the drill goes through, it stops drilling wheat in this space, and it's exactly where a tractor will pass up the field, and then the tram lines are, in our case, 36 metres apart. So it's precision farming, if you like, and it's a guide as soon as you come into the field. That's what a tram line is. But because you don't put any wheat in the ground, you can see what's growing apart from wheat. And I'm very pleased to say I can't see any weeds growing, because we put that residual weed killer on just after drilling, and we can't find any weeds. Can you see any weeds? I can't see any weeds. So that is good. And yeah, it's really pleasing this time of year. It's really satisfying. We've put the nitrogen on, and nitrogen is basically the food to make this grow. It's put the roots down over the winter. It will now respond, and especially so as the soil temperature comes up. And at this stage, the wheat is at a sort of still tillering stage, and hopefully we want to maximise the number of tillers that survive at this point. And then we have fertile tillers coming up, and it will go to stem extension, but that's to come. This, we might even, well, probably not this field, but some of the fields did not get rolled this year. This did, but some of the fields that didn't get rolled, we might well roll them in the coming weeks, just to smooth out the ground and just make it more uniform. And it also is a way of stimulating tillers as well. But basically, I'm really chuffed with this. I just want to show you something next door though. Just a point on footpaths after this winter. There's just something, you get something called footpath creep, and I'm going to show you that over there. Now, we've got a couple of footpaths on the farm. They're really lovely, particularly when the weather's like this. And it's been very wet, as you might have noticed this winter. And what I've noticed happening this year is when they sort of open up and you get to the field, they've got something called footpath creep, and this is something all farmers have commented on that have footpaths. They've got wider and wider this year because it's been muddy, and people try and find a dry way across the field, and suddenly you end up with a footpath that is no longer 1.5 metres wide. If I measured this one, and I got it to about 4.5 metres, 5 metres even. And you can see there's wheat drilled here, but I mean, it's sort of had it because it's been walked on all along here. And yeah, I've sort of lost the field to the footpath. I say it's a wet year is when it really happens. You know, wet winter, people walk walking over the dogs. It's quite understandable how it happens. But I worked out, basically this is 3 metres wider now than it officially has to be. It's about 400 and something metres along here. It's one of my smallest fields, it's 8.6 acre field. And this is taken around 4% of the field out. It's about 3.7. It's about 3.75 of an acre, third of an acre, just over, has been taken out from footpath creep, which we'll be able to correct. We can trim this right back, and actually here is where I'm putting the new hedgerow in, which is part of the countryside stewardship scheme I'm on. So we'll come off here, we'll be planting this with a new hedge, we'll trim this up, and that will help sort of delineate where the footpath should be. But this is going into enhanced stubble this next year, so this will be left. So it'll probably be a 2-year thing to correct it. Yeah, it's a shame the hedge didn't go in this year. This was, I think I did a video about this, that DEFRA is delaying the payments out, and some farmers are still struggling cash flow because they have not received the payments they thought they were going to get for both SFI and countryside stewardship. I'm very pleased to say I did get the payment come through right at the end of January, but the time I'd ordered hedging, I would have been putting a hedgerow in here sort of middle of February, end of February, and I thought that's just too late in the season. I want to put it in December, and so in December this year we'll do the hedgerow here that I had hoped to plant at the beginning of this year. But there we go, can't win them all. Right, let's go and have a look at some of the hedgerows we have put on this farm, because we've been working on those as well. Now, we've been busy with the hedger recently, last few weeks, and flail hedger, and we've just been exposing some of the stone walls we have here. This is again by the footpath, and you can see the sort of amount of creep we've got here. We're right out walking away from here, a long way from the wall when it's 1.5 meters. So to help that, and to see if these walls, any of them need maintenance and rebuilding in places, because I've entered an SFI for maintenance of stone walls on the farm, this is what we've done. This is a great old wall. I don't know how many hundreds of years it's been here. What I've got to watch is when you get a tree like that, the roots and things buckle the wall. So although it looks lovely, this sort of gnarled tree here, I've just got to manage the tree so it doesn't actually knock the wall down, which is a bit of a problem, because they are dry stone walls. There is no mortar, nothing is holding up. This is gravity, and you've probably seen the videos I've done when we've had new stone walls built. They're sort of pyramid style, but I mean, I'm exaggerating it, but they're wider at the base and they come to the top, and then the toppers hold them up. But I just wanted to show you this hedge as well. So this hedge we planted about 20 years ago, and we've hedged this back as well, and we do it in February because you want to do it before birds start to build their nests in there, and you want to, this hedge had a lot of sort of fruit and berries, hazelnuts, hawthorn, all sorts of things that wild birds would feed during the winter. So we wait so it can provide the winter food, and then knock it back ready for the year. So it looks a bit mutilated at the moment, but this will burst into life and it will all disappear and it'll all look good. And then we leave some specimen trees here within the hedge, so they'll grow up into specimen trees, and it all looks good. Anyway, there's all the good news. Now I'm going to show you the bad news happening on the farm, and that's I've got one field that's not looking so bright. I'm going to pop up the yard, so I think Latham doors are just fitting the security door up there, and we'll go and see how they're getting on. Door time happening on the grain shed. This door has driven me around the twist because it was all put in wrong. It was off the floor. Lee, thank you. You look like you're just about there. You're finished.
Yeah, just about finished.
Oh.
So just finished the actual lock.
Yeah, excellent. So this is more advanced than I had before, because this has got locks all the way down the door, isn't it?
It certainly
Here
does.
and here.
Yeah, so you have 3 chute bolts that come out the top of the door.
Oh, up here as well.
They go into the
okay.
top of the frame. You
All
have
right.
3 that come out through the bottom to the lower threshold here.
Right.
Then you have 2 at shoulder height, 3 waist height, and then 2 shin height as well. And they all secure into the door frame themselves.
That is good. Yeah, do that. And it's green.
Yeah, so juniper green to match.
Yeah, how about that?
I believe the previous one was a grey.
Oh, it wasn't very smart. The thing was, we were away when they put it in, and they just put it up in the air. It was just a nonsense. So anyway, I'm very pleased with that. Yeah, and then I didn't really explain that I thought it's more secure to have the door opening in and you can't see the hinges, but you're saying no.
Yeah, so law of physics, naturally it's a lot harder to kick a door that naturally wants to open outwards than inwards. So
Right.
if you're attacking the door from the external face,
Yeah.
trying to kick a door in, it's got the frame securing it from the internal
Right.
side.
Which you mean that's this frame round here, isn't it?
exactly
Which I hadn't really thought about.
Whereas the door that naturally wants to open inwards, it's going to be a lot easier to force your way through on the
Right.
door opening in.
Well, there you go. Look, something every day. And then you'll show me also the locks.
Yes.
Because I've seen some and they're sort of proud and sitting out. This is flush fitting.
It is. So all of our handles, they offer a security escutcheon on the outside. So that's an extra barrier of protection there for the cylinder.
What's one of that? What do you call
this
that?
actual cover here.
Oh,
so
see.
again, from an attack point of view, you have to get through that before you even are exposed to the actual cylinder itself. So again, another barrier of entry there.
Right, because I've seen them exposed. You've got one, haven't you?
Yeah, so we spoke earlier about the cylinder itself. So here you will see that there are lines on the cylinder.
Right.
And these are what we class as anti-snapping points. So when the cylinder is inside the door, from an attack point of view, if anyone was to get a pair of mole grips, or they would grab the cylinder and they would effectively try and snap it from left to right. Ideally, trying to break the cylinder in half.
Actually, right. So they're hoping to break it there.
They're hoping to break it in half, right next to the cam there, because
that's the bit that locks. Is this thing moving here?
Exactly. Yeah. So that is a bit of a weak part of the cylinder.
I see.
But the aim with these snapping points is that it's that bit that breaks first, which then leaves the rest of the cylinder inside the door, preventing anyone from getting in.
Right, so they're bashing on this, hoping it's going to break there, and that will just snap off there, like a shear bolt or something like that. Well, there you go. I didn't know that. That's all good.
But you're all secure now,
yes.
So it's all just been silicone.
Fantastic.
So I think it looks great.
It does. Best do it on the farm. Yeah, cool.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you very
we've
much.
got another one to do. Brilliant. Thank you. Find that farm security bit really interesting. I'm going to do a more deep dive into it over the coming months. That door, instead, is about £400, and you can fit it yourself actually if you wanted to. But this is my problem wheat field. This is big pickets. Last year it was my best wheat field. This year, not sure at all about it. We drilled it initially in October, and then we came in and re-drilled it with a direct drill in November. So we've had a couple of goes at getting this, and it's still, you can see this wheat is from November. So it's there, but it's not looking overly bright, I have to say. And we've put this initial dressing of nitrogen fertiliser on, hopefully to spark it into life. And I'm ashamed to say this is the good bit. The headlands have gone. This is a 6.5 hectare field, and about 1.5, 2 hectares we've written off already, and we'll come to that in a moment. So yeah, that is this winter that we've had. Now the sun's shining and dry on top, we sort of forget how miserable it was in October, November time. Really wet underfoot, and some of this sat very wet right through the winter. And then recently we've had fairly sharp frosts. Wheat can cope with it, but it doesn't really spark it into life. But we have rising soil temperature, the nitrogen has gone on in good conditions, so we'll see how this changes over the next few weeks. It's getting really windy now, so I can't really continue this video, but been a lot to pack in with the new format of Harry's Farm, the sponsors on board, with whom I'm very grateful. There are links in the video description below, but it will mean more videos coming your way. So keep subscribing if you can. We're up to 157,000, for which I'm extremely grateful. And that last video I did is nearly 400,000 views on the solar panels and heat pump. I was amazed how popular that was. Maybe I ought to revisit that as well. The sun, incidentally, the solar panels are loving this weather at the moment. They're putting out about 45 units a day rather than the 4 or 5 when I did that video. So there you go. There's a new Harry's Farm video for you. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, keep watching, keep subscribing. More videos coming along very soon. What's he doing? You can tell it's not muddy anymore. It has dried out quite a lot. Unless he's found... Have you found some fox poo? You haven't found some fox poo, have you? Stanley, what have you found there?